What's good, everybody? It's your boy All Out. And you're probably wondering why I have all this greenery on me. That's because today we're going to be talking about poison ivy. It's basically an allergenic plant that causes like severe rashes. You got the poison ivy, you got the poison oak, and then you got poison sumac. And those are like the deadly trio. So I'm going to be discussing like all of the amounts of times I've had poison ivy, oak, sumac, and it's been like at least 5 times. I probably can't even name like every single time because it happens so often, but I just remember like whenever it first started happening was whenever I started Boy Scouts, and obviously I was camping and stuff. I used to get it a lot back then, and so the thing about poison ivy, oak, sumac, or whatever is that so whenever you get it, you don't scratch it whatsoever. But it's not even the scratching or itching itself. It's the oil from the plant that gets onto you that causes the reaction, called erysiol. And what you need to do is you gotta wipe it away and make sure you get like soapy water and wipe it away. Otherwise, it keeps spreading. So, anyways, I got it so much back then. I didn't know that. I thought it was just you don't scratch. I was like, okay, but I got it so much that the oil got everywhere on my clothes and on my sleeping bag. So whenever I was like cleaning and stuff, I would just randomly get it, and I'm like, what the hell? This is pissing me off. And so I would have to. It would always like bubble up and get like. I'm also like super allergic to it. So I puff up huge. And what really sucks about it, it lasts up to 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks. It's like, bro, can I get a break, please? So then, whenever I'm like doing sports, the thing about it is it gets way itchier the hotter your body gets. So there would be some instances where in sports, I would be really wanting to scratch it, like during track and stuff. And it also got in between my knees, so like right behind the knee area. So whenever you have to like bend it, the blisters and stuff would pop. And so I think I was out of track season for like almost half of it. And so I got into that track season late because of it. And just in the gym in general, whenever you're like lifting weights, you have to be careful. And there's also like misconceptions about poison ivy too, because like I said earlier, it's not the rash itself that you can spread, it's the oil. So if you make sure you clean the oil, you have it covered, it won't spread. But people will like avoid you like the plague if you have it, so it is what it is, you know? And probably the worst time I ever had it was whenever I was like in elementary school. So I would have to walk home from school, and it was about a 2-mile walk. I remember I had to take a huge dump. I'm like, oh, I gotta get there quick, or I'm gonna shit my pants. And what do you know? I get there, and the door's locked. On God, bro. So I'd be searching for everywhere, and like a way in. The windows were locked, and this house was like 2 stories. And so what I ended up doing is I went around to the backyard, and I couldn't hold anymore, so I had to go in the bushes. And lo and behold, it was a poison ivy bush. Just my luck. And so everywhere you can imagine that you don't want poison ivy is where I got poison ivy. It was all up in my cheeks, all up in my balls deep, in my, it was awful. All over my crotch, bro. That was probably the worst time I ever had it. I couldn't sit down properly. I would have to lay down just to be comfortable. And because of that, the only time I ever felt comfortable was whenever I was taking a bath. I don't know what it was, but the water was like so comforting for my skin. But yeah, I had to go to the doctor, and I had to like pull my pants down so you could see it. And he was like, oh shit. And I'm like, yep, that's right. I couldn't even sit down in the lodge. I had to like lay down, like I had to put my face and just like sit like kind of like this. Just to be comfortable. So then, flash forward till my graduation day for high school, and we went to a cruise, and we went to Belize, and we did what do you call cenote hopping, which is like these big natural water caves created from the collapse of limestone bedrock that exposes groundwater. So basically, just underwater caves. I wouldn't say underwater. They're just like water caves. There you go. And we come across this tree called a chichen or something. But it's called a poison blackwood tree. And this thing has toxic black sap that causes severe reactions similar to poison ivy. So it was basically just poison ivy. And I was like nervous sweating, right? And so at one point, I took my shoes off to go jump off into the hole, but I don't know how, but I ended up getting some of that urushiol on my foot, and I think it's like one of two ways. So you know how like trees come up and they have like roots coming up from the ground? I either must have stepped on that, or B, my sister Amy got some on her, and I wonder if she spread it to me because she didn't know too. So anyways, I just remember getting back from that trip, and my foot is like super swollen, super pussy, and because of the nature of like poison ivy and stuff, whenever your foot heats up, it gets rashy. So whenever I have a shoe on it, it's just a whole cesspool of like fuckery. So I remember explaining this to my boss at work, and he was like, well, you can either do that or go home. And so he wouldn't like let me switch jobs with someone. And so they just gave me the strenuous job of the day, and so I had to like walk around and put parts on a tree. And that was awful. So here I am getting my body super heated up, and my foot is like covered in pus, super swollen. I'm walking with a limp foot. Yeah, it was rough, man. Poison ivy is not worth it. It ain't it, bro. It ain't it. Alright, this has been All Out. I'll see you later.